My son got vaccinated and now he's a hawk.
Welcome back to the internet's #1 podcast, which used to be a person, the Loreboys, with the power to morph into an annoying guy at will. I'm your host, Ethan Palmer. With me, as always, is Peter and Jamie. Say hi, Peter and Jamie. Jamie sniped the topic of this right before I hit the record button, basically. But yes, we're doing Animorphs today.
Oh, no fucking way.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. A lot of good lore. Thanks so much, dear listeners. If you're new to the show, here for Animorphs lore, just know I read a Animorphs book when I was like 8 years old, and that's the last time I read an Animorphs book. So
I may have read one or two. One I remember focused on the hawk, and I remember
Tobias.
I know it's Tobias. I didn't want to spoil anything for the episode.
It's not in the episode, so we're not really going to talk about the teenagers at all. We're going to talk about the alien war that is kind of the backdrop for the story that the teenagers take place in. So I think there are probably some, like, I think especially a diehard Animorphs fan would consider some of the stuff we're going to be talking about major spoilers, but I don't think it's no story spoilers. It's kind of like setting and environmental spoilers for sure.
When I was young, I actually read the book too late past midnight, and now for my whole life, I'm actually stuck with a preteen's genitals.
Interesting.
Yeah, nubile, just completely hairless.
I remember there was one, I didn't read them in order because I would just get them from like Scholastic, and I had no concept of like serialized fiction, right? Also, shout out to Scholastic. They're still cooking, and they're one of my clients. They're still like teaching kids how to read, and hopefully giving them novelty spy kits as well. It's fucking great.
Was there anything better than going to the Scholastic book fair with with $20, getting the new Captain Underpants, getting 2 or 3 Goosebumps books, and then getting a Ferrari poster, right?
Yeah, it's like a king's ransom. Like, basically, you're the richest boy.
They like branched out into like video games
weapons?
At one point.
Oh.
No, I got this game, Croc.
It's like Texas Instruments, like calculators and also rockets for the F-16.
Yeah, exactly.
Croc, Legend of Gobos. It was just a platformer where you played a dinosaur or a croc, I guess. And
they're related. Don't worry about it
for them, man.
Yeah.
It's like reading.
There was one that I remember. There was like, so anyway, there was like one of the teenagers had expended their like time spent as an animal at the bottom of the sea, so they couldn't transform back into a shark, or else they'd be stuck as a shark forever, as thus the rules of the Animorphs magic.
Yeah.
But I remember at some point, to get some oxygen, they found like a bubble trapped under a piece of debris and like inhaled the air from the bubble to be able to get to the surface. And now at this point, 25 years, I still think, I wonder if you could do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think, right?
Probably.
Like,
is there like a thing like, you know, there's sitting water that get brain eating amoebas in real life? If there's just like a pond of water that stays the same forever, right? What if there's sitting air that's like stuck upside down under a log and hasn't been moved for a really long time?
Oh, could you imagine almost drowning and then just like sucking in a big, like a bubble underwater of like musty basement air and just being like, ugh.
Just like mothballs.
Yeah. Old newspaper air. You're like flailing around underwater.
And actually, in Animorphs, you can actually taste mothballs as well. But
true. Yeah. Finally, the forbidden fruit. I would think underwater, like under the ocean, the air would be very salty. And so like I don't know if like, oxygen would actually like leach out and it would be like too carbon dioxide heavy or something like that. But I think it's in theory possible, right? It's just air.
If you're a chemist, crunch at us.
Yeah,
well,
please.
It probably depends how long the air's under there, right?
Why?
Well, no, people do the caving shit where they go underwater into caves, but they do run out of oxygen and in those caves, but you can breathe for a while. I used to watch like creepypasta caving stories where like one guy's tube got broken and then he had to swim all the way out to save his other friend or whatever.
Glad we're basing our science on our creepypasta.
I was thinking about this today. Is our last detour here. I'm so sorry about the about like caving videos. Every single one. This is like a joke that I kind of heard, but like it's totally true. It's like every single video about caving is just like oh, he went solo into two guys kissing, nothing gay about it cave. And when he got to the suicide drop, he decided to try and go through it alone. And then like 6 months later, they find his fucking skeleton at the bottom. It's like, yeah. You went to an abandoned chalk mine. Like, what are you fucking insane?
The nutty putty incident with the birth
Yeah, exactly.
canal. Yeah, it's pretty much that. Yeah. Anyways, caving lore another day.
No idea what the fuck that last sentence means. So thanks to recent subscribers to our Patreon, patreon.com/loreboys. There's a link in the description. Pie Guy 84, Subblub, and Mormon Milkman. 3 great names. I love it when it lines up like that.
Yeah.
Today's Animorphs episode has been requested for years, but recently your Lord and Savior and Loreboy Prime, Jodo, requested it, which obviously bumped it to the top of my to-do list. He was also one of the first people to request it. And Jodo's been asking for this shit for years. So Jodo, This one's for you, buddy.
We're sorry.
Big shout out and a kiss and a smooch for you.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience.
So I was going to say, let's start with a game I like to call What Did the Boys Know About Animorphs? But it sounds like you guys know a little bit. Like I said, we're not going to talk about any stories. So Pete, you talked about the mechanic of you can only stay in animal form for a couple hours at a time before you have to revert back to human form, or you'll be stuck in animal form. And Tobias famously, I think, because again, like I think I've read a book. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember having books and I read a lot as a kid. So I'd be surprised if I didn't at least try one book. But even I know that Tobias stays a hawk at some point, right? I have no idea when in the story that happens, but I'm like, I've heard that Tobias stays as a hawk. He stays.
I remember the TV show too. There's a TV show.
There was a TV show.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up grabbing any of the stills, but while I was researching this on shout out to the fandom, people who update that shit because it's great. But all the stills captured from the TV show are clearly like a 240p version that's been like ripped to YouTube that was like screenshotted and then pasted on the wiki, but they're all so atrocious. I almost took a bunch to just like quiz you guys during the bonus on like, hey, can you guess what this scene is showing basically?
There's also on top of the thing where you can turn into an animal, but you got to turn back or else you stay that way. There's something about aliens. And I'm pretty sure there's like RFK brain-eating worms that can like.
Yeah, there is. So we're going to talk about the RFK brain-eating worms. They're called Yeerks. So today we're going to talk about like the Yeerks, the Andalites. Like
my son got vaccinated and now he's a hawk. I've been working on that one.
the story of Animorphs. Okay, I'm going to start us off with the opening paragraph from Wikipedia. Okay. This is the true Wikipedia, not the wiki, but Wikipedia itself. Animorphs is a science fantasy series of youth books written by Catherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, writing together under the name K.A. Applegate and published by Scholastic. It is told in first person, with all 6 main characters taking turns narrating the books through their own perspectives.
Oh, very Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I was going to say.
George R. Applegate over here.
You can only spend half an hour as your sister's brother, basically. Else you're stuck.
Otherwise you can't have sex with yourself whenever you're transformed into a hawk. Otherwise you'll stay a hawk forever.
Yeah. You got to pull out of your sister before 30 minutes, or else you stay there.
The core themes of the series are horror, war, imperialism, dehumanization, sanity, morality, innocence, leadership, freedom, family, and growing up. Which is something I've heard before, and like I spent a good amount of time researching some like old forums that were like discussing Animorphs lore, and pretty much the broad agreement of fans of the series is that it was not as popular as it could have been because it's a lot of themes that are not really appropriate for young adults, right? Who just like don't understand like a theme of horror, war, and imperialism is kind of lost on a 9-year-old, right? So that's kind of attributed for some of the reason why maybe it's not as popular as it was. So I think it was a fairly popular book series. I think there's at least broad knowledge of it if there's not that many people that got super into the entire series, right?
I'd forgotten about it until I started collecting. I haven't seen any of them for sale, but I saw a YouTube video about like non-Autobot Transformers. Hasbro had officially licensed Animorph toys that I have never seen in person that were basically like, I mean, they're not great. It was basically, you could turn basically to like a werewolf with a kid's head into like an animal, basically. But like they had action figures that transformed as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
think that one thing that made it really stick with our generation, anyways, is the earmark, like the corner where you would see the pages at the bottom of like a book, right? It was either at the bottom or the top. They had the person turning into the animal.
Oh, yeah.
It was
very
a
slowly,
yeah.
and you could flip through it like a flip book, and you could see the person like transform into their animal.
That's
or
cool.
vice versa, depending how you flip it.
Maybe I never read an Animorphs book because that doesn't sound familiar at all to me.
If you don't remember that is like the most iconic part, other than the horrors on the cover.
The covers are fantastic.
The flip book in the corner is the second most iconic thing. Those inspired me to make little flip books on Post-it booklets when I was like 8 or 9.
Oh yeah.
Damn, I made little stick figure animations after picking up an Animorphs book.
Yeah,
so I think that's
cool.
Yeah, that was a big part of it for me, anyways.
So there are 44 books in the series, not including 10 companion books. 2 of which are non-canon. So there's 2 non-canon books, but 52 canon books in the series, basically.
George R. R. Martin really should have taken some fucking the work ethic as an inspiration rather than the sister fucking or whatever.
He should have got married to someone, because if you're having a lull, then the wife can pick it up.
That's true.
Exactly.
Vice versa.
A good chunk of them are ghostwritten. Michael Grant, one of the authors who wrote under the pseudonym K.A. Applegate, is on record saying he paid ghostwriters a very good fee at the time, because him and his wife used to be ghostwriters before they wrote Animorphs. But that's him saying it. He said, yeah, back in the day, I used to pay ghostwriters very well. So take it with whatever grain of salt you want. And I will say, some of them are ghostwritten, and then I think it is like probably 5 Animorphs books to, one Song of Ice and Fire, basically.
Yeah.
There's some division.
We figured out it was ghostwritten whenever there was that children's book where they were talking about the girth of the child's penis for the whole time, and there's a lot of ties into Carrie and The Shining and a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was like...
Stephen King moonlighting on Animorphs. So the story throughout these books, like I said in the Wikipedia quote, follows 6 main characters: Jake, Marco, Cassie, Rachel, Tobias, and Aximili Escaruth Isthil, nicknamed Axe.
That's the centaur.
5 of those are human teenagers, and 1 of them is an alien. The exercise of figuring out which is which I will leave to the reader.
Yeah, Rachel, obviously, alien centaur.
Imagine Guns N' Roses and it's the whole band, but then Axel is just a centaur. It's like there.
I remember what that thing looked like too. He's like blue and fuzzy, right?
I'll have a picture of of him. Well, we're going to talk about the Andalites as well. So the series and our episode today is going to center around an alien invasion of Earth, where the Animorphs fight as a guerrilla force against the invaders called Yeerks, the brain slugs that we mentioned before.
Was that a joke with actual gorillas?
Geo.
Form? I didn't even think of that. Actually, no. Okay. I wish I was that clever. If only you were writing the script, right?
Back to when I was 8 years old, the first time I saw Predator, and I've said this on the show before, when they find the skinned body of like a Colombian drug guy, and Arnie says, "Gorillas didn't do this." I was like, "Oh, the military sent men to kill monkeys." I see.
That's good. So the Yeerks are invading Earth. There's another alien species known as the Andalite who are helping the protagonist. So Aximili is an Andalite. We're going to talk about like who are the Andalites, who are the Yeerks, and then a bit of their history and some other alien races today. We're not going to be talking about the story of Animorphs and what the teenagers do. So none of that will be spoiled for you.
I don't want to spoil the 30-year-old book series for anybody.
Hey, if I hope that you hear this and say this sounds cool, and you go out and read them.
If you're riding the rails as a hobo, going to the Dust Bowl, 44 books would be a real good way to pass your time.
Hell yeah.
Between stops, right?
So an alien Andalite named Elfangor, who happens to be the brother of Axe, will grant the kids morphing technology. So it is like a technology that he can bestow on people, which they can use to morph into an animal, which they have touched and extracted DNA from. So the way morphing technology works is they take a sample from an animal, and then they can turn into that animal using this tech, basically.
Do you think the nude guy who was at that aquarium in 2024 was trying to touch a dolphin so he could transform?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Good.
No.
Yeah, like you said, Peter, you can only stay transformed for a certain amount of time before you transform back. Elfangor giving this technology to the kids is illegal. And we'll get into interstellar law eventually, basically. But it was a crime that this dying Andalite did to give these kids the weapons to turn into bug or crocodile or here's a quote from Marco, one of the characters in the book The Reunion. My friends, Jake, Rachel, Cassie, and Tobias, and I had the distinct misfortune to stumble upon a dying Andalite warrior prince who told us about the Yeerks and their invasion of our planet. He gave us the gift and curse of morphing, an Andalite technology that allows us to acquire the DNA of any animal and become morph that animal. This is our most spectacular weapon.
Okay.
No shade again, like cool books, cool world, cool themes, all that stuff. This is a bad weapon. This is not a good weapon.
Yeah.
Turning a monkey not as good as a gun. You know?
No.
I just don't think ever. I don't think
Well, they
there's a world
skinned
where...
that guy in Predator, so maybe monkey is strong, right?
Yeah.
True.
Why not both though? Why not both? Like you're a bird that could like imagine you're just running as a human, turn into a bird
with a gun.
Drop in, and you're a person with a gun, and you just got the mobility of a bird, and you wouldn't even hit my mic because you'd be so much more graceful as a bird. And yeah,
I actually again don't know if I've ever read a book. Just generally, I don't know how the clothes work. How does clothes work in Animorphs?
well, it's a kid's book. There's no way that they're like, and then the kid was naked, and Stephen King starts writing more.
I was gonna say, unless they had Stephen King as a ghostwriter.
King's writing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So what the heck is a Yeerk? Huh? I hear you guys ask. So I sent 2 pictures to you guys. If you want access to the pictures, we share them in the Discord server with our patrons, or you can just Google Yeerk. Figure out how to spell it. Animorphs Yeerk, and you'll get the pictures.
They're slug whales.
They look really cool. They look like they look like a regular Earth ancient like caterpillar fish thing from like 600 million years ago.
Yeah, I'll give you like catfish sort of vibes for sure, like prehistoric. These are the brain slugs. Yeerks is bugs, is what I have written in the script, right?
Okay.
They resemble large slugs. They sort of have proto fins, but they're not able to move around very much. They do have the ability to slide into another being's brain cavity via the ear canal and control that person completely.
Oh,
That's
little.
why I remembered them, because I have a thing about my ears. Like I hate the idea of things going into my ears. And I remember in the TV show, it shows the bug going in the ear. And I was like, hell no. I can still think about it right now. And yeah, they're very, very bad. Nobody needs that in their lives.
Bug crawling in my ear? I could take it or leave it. I'm not really bothered by a bug crawling in my ear.
I guess
I hope he likes podcasts, right?
I hope he likes
Yeah.
Could you imagine being a bug? You're already confused enough being in somebody's ear, and then like a rubber tip just seals you in, and the loudest sound in a language you can't understand just blasts at you for 90 minutes straight.
Yeah. It'd be like 17 hours a day of Vengabus. You know?
Or like the layered irony of like a brain slug listening to RFK on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Would that make the brain slug stupider?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's a quote on the Yeerks from Cassie in the book The Sickness. Yeerks are parasites. A Yeerk enters a host through the ear canal, flattens itself out on the brain, and takes over completely. The host creature can't scratch an itch unless the Yeerk wants it to. We call a being who's been taken over that way a controller. You must be thinking the Yeerks are pure evil. But let me tell you what it's like to be a Yeerk who isn't in a host. Yeerks are basically gray slugs. No hands, no legs, no eyes, no ears. If a Yeerk wants to be free to really move, free to see the beauty of the world around it, free to hear music, or even the sound of rain on leaves, if a Yeerk wants that, it has to have a host. If a Yeerk wants to be free, it has to make another living creature a slave. Not an easy choice, is it?
Yeah. It's like a Gundam mech suit driver without his mech suit, you know? And the mech suit's the person, and the driver is the worm. Yeah.
I also love the philosophical concept of just like, if it wants to like behold the splendor of nature, like there are cathedrals everywhere with eyes to see, is like, no one who's 9 at the Scholastic Book Fair is gonna understand what the fuck that means, dude.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why I left this in, because I won't belabor the point too much, but it's like, yeah, like clearly a bit adult for a 9-year-old at the Scholastic Book Fair, right? I do think it's like a nice. I always like morally gray when not for morally gray's sake, right? Like these are clearly the bad guys. This is clearly a black and white war that's taking place. But to give your evil characters that depth, right? Of saying like, yeah, they do it because that's the only way out that they got, really. other than just being bug.
And they didn't evolve, I guess. So they were like, well, mind control it is.
Exactly. Yeah. I guess we just go with wrap around the brain and then use other people's eyes to see. Okay.
If the ones that did evolve to look like AirPods or something,
Yeah.
so people would put them into their ears.
Hey, if I ever go blind, I'm cutting open your guys' skull and climbing in there to see through your eyes. Okay.
Oh, we could share custody. I think I'm okay with that. If it keeps the show going, that's fine.
Yeah. I get the eyes on the weekends. on the Yeerk home planet in the distant past, before they were even parasites, the Yeerks existed alongside some blue-furred ape-like creatures known as Geds. Geds have yellow eyes, three-fingered hands, webbed toes, poor vision, poor motor skills, and dumbasses. Okay, Geds are real beta energy. Let me tell you.
Okay.
They're ostensibly bipedal with their two legs, but since one leg is evolutionarily longer than the other, they're pretty much forced to keep at least one hand on the ground at all times so they don't just fucking fall over.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Compared to humans, Geds are slow, weak, and nearly blind. Their mouths are hard to control for Yeerks, so speech via a Ged host is difficult.
That's why RFK talks now.
Yeah.
He's a Ged. He's got a bad mouth.
He's just got one hand on the ground.
One hand on the ground at all times because one leg's too fucking short.
I'm trying to think, can you imagine how, like, you're the first Yeerk to take a Ged host, and you're like finally to behold the splendor of nature, and it can barely see or talk, and you're like, all right, conquest, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Straight up though, like that's exactly why I'm like laying this groundwork, because that's like pretty much exactly what happens. They control the Geds, and it's on their home planet, so it's all that they know. And like the Geds are not like tactile enough to, and like the Yeerks at this point aren't smart enough, but like it's hard to get smarter when you don't have that ability to like use their hands to like experiment as easily and everything, right? So
right,
their progress would be way slower. And so basically, as soon as like other species show up, they're kind of just like, yeah, no, like, I guess like at what point, you know, the moral quandary that was presented to us in the, hey, they're blind, they can't see, they can't experience the world unless they're doing it via host. Like, it's the same problem now. It's like they can't really experience the world the same way that humans can, where we can see, you know, pretty well, and we can do a lot of things with our hands, and, you know, we can walk pretty ably. So it's like the exact same problem. It's just like you've just moved the goalposts a little bit in one way or another. So
I keep thinking about which one I want to be. And at first I was like, a bird to fly would be so cool. But imagine a big cat just like running through the forest and like being able to run straight up a tree, like pouncing on something from behind, being able to like sneak and oh man.
I think being a cat would be a lot of fun. Even just being a house cat for half an hour. Like just turning my dumb little piece of shit who's asleep in front of the door right now.
I at first thought, yeah, what if I was Melon? What if I was my cat? But then I was like, oh, if even at my best, like a human can just pick me up by my scruff, then what's the fun in that? Let's go all the way. Let's be a big cat. But
you want to pick a guy up by his scruff and eat him in the woods before you were, of course, trapped that way.
That's it. Yeah, because famously, like, people never kill big cats. I would want to be a slug just to crawl in your ear, Jamie.
Oh god.
Oh.
just only for that reason.
If you touch a Yeerk, can you turn into a Yeerk?
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't read the books. Huh. I don't really know. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say probably not. But who knows? Maybe it comes up. Ice, stop barking at me. You listeners at home can't hear her, but I can.
I'm gonna mic it up. I'll mic it up.
I can see her. Give me. Well, he hit mute right before he went. Okay, it's just while he's moving. Okay, there's one squeak.
A little squeak out of her.
Nah, we got one.
It's not bad for being 116 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I hit the mute button so you wouldn't hear me traveling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the Geds are bipedal with their two legs, but since one leg is longer than the other, they always have the one hand on the ground. Despite being such absolute goobers, they were still more mobile than Yeerks, and so over time, Yeerks began to use the Ged in a truly symbiotic relationship. This is like how the Yeerks developed their ability to like climb into a brain and control it. Is like the Geds were like all for it too, right?
Okay. So they were down. They were like actually drinking raw milk from RFK's like farm because they're just like. But in this case, it was making them smarter because they got the power of the slug thoughts, and then at least one three-fingered hand to manipulate the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
At least one three-fingered hand to dish out ivermectin and creatine.
Hey, creatine's not quackery.
No, but RFK is ripped, right? That's like his whole thing.
I think it's just like tea. He's very red.
I'm healthy because I don't know. I don't know who RFK is really. The Yeerk, so despite being slugs, were very intelligent and were able to help the Ged survive in exchange for some bodies to pilot. So the Ged are like, hey, like they basically like a Yeerk would take over some Ged, some Yeerk would take over some Ged, and basically be like the leaders of the Ged and like teach them how to survive because the Yeerks were smarter than them and able to just help them.
Tin food grows naturally on trees on these planets, but the Yeerk or the Ged are too stupid to open the cans. So
Exactly.
the Yeerks crawled into their heads and then helped them invent the can opener, basically.
Yeah, exactly. The pen knife.
Yeah.
The Yeerk and the Ged continued this way for a long time. As the Yeerk's first hosts, they worked well enough, giving the Yeerks at least some vision and motility, if not much of either. Living on their home planet was convenient as well, as Yeerks need a specific radiation from their sun known as Cadrona. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. But keep it in the back of your mind. They need their sun. They're like Superman or reverse Superman. I guess
Superman, is affected by the sun. I don't know what color sun Krypton is, but I know our sun makes him strong. Yellow sun makes strong.
Yeah. Okay. So they're like they need the yellow. They need the yellow. Their sun's a yellow sun. They need the sun to make them strong.
Okay.
That would continue. The symbiotic relationship will continue until the first Andalite would appear on their planet. So, what the heck is an Andalite? Huh? This is our blue furred aliens that we were talking about before. Axe is an Andalite. I sent you guys 2 pictures.
Way weirder than I remember.
To them, this is going to be the Corvette of vehicles compared to their 3-legged freaks or whatever. But
yeah.
No, they just have one leg that's longer for some fucking reason.
2-legged freaks, yeah.
I would love to know the environmental pressures that made that happen via evolution, right?
The one shorter leg. I have no idea. It has to be that there's no predators on their home planet and they just declined into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. Well, the resources to reach higher to get like berries and stuff, they didn't have enough resources to get both legs longer, but they just lean on the taller one to get higher up in the trees.
I was thinking all the trees on this planet grow sideways, so the guy with the longer left leg actually could reach further that way, but they're too stupid to just go around to the front.
No, everything is kind of circular that they need to traverse. So whenever they run in a straight line, they actually run in a circle, which is a lot better.
Oh, okay, of course, yeah.
Maybe the entire planet is like a spherical pyramid, right? Like a cone. And so they're
still standing up straight, technically, right?
Yeah, it's not flat Earth; it's cone Earth, right?
I see.
Oh, right. Or if like gravity just worked like from the North Pole to the South Pole, and they're in the northern hemisphere, so they always have to kind of like run around. Yeah, okay, yeah. I see that.
So here's a quote from Rachel in The Journey describing Andalites. Andalites look like deer if deer had blue and tan fur, humanoid arms, and scorpion-like tails tipped with wickedly sharp blades. Andalites also have 2 main eyes on their face and 2 on swiveling stalks that sprout from the top of their head. Beautiful and intelligent and cunning. I think it's going to become we're going to talk about it a few times. Just going to rip the Band-Aid off here. People in this series aren't willing to say that these people look like freaks, okay? People like Rachel call them beautiful. And Pete, you're right. They're ugly as hell. These are monsters. These are horrible monsters, right?
Yeah. It's also funny how she's like, it looks like a deer if a deer had the front half of a man. It's like, Rachel, we know we had a word for that. And I said it at the top. It's centaur. Like, what the fuck?
They also have they have eye stalks on top of their head. They have human faces with additional eye stalks on top.
Human face is doing a lot of work because they have like a honeycomb nose and like 5 nostrils.
Yeah, so they have they're deer centaur. The ladies have purple fur because purple's a girl's color, blue's a boy's color.
Naturally.
They're weaker than humans typically, and their slender arms end in 7-fingered hands. Their noses are 3 vertical slits, and they have 4 eyes, a pair on the face, and a pair on some tentacles above their face, like I was saying. Yeah. Their noses kind of look like a peach pit, I guess, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Notably, they have no mouths, if you guys could notice, right? No mouths on these guys. What that mouth do? Nothing. It's not even, there's no mouth. So they have no mouths. Also, no need to scream. They eat with their feet and communicate via telepathy.
Oh, all right.
Eat with their feet? Now, come on.
Yeah, God, I wish, huh? So, half of our listener base just got too horny and had to pause the episode to go surf the web for something, Yeah, they it's. I didn't include the description. It's over described, I think. Again, hey, Catherine Applegate and Michael Grant, you guys did good with this series. You got. I don't like the way that you talk about these horrible deer monsters. Okay, but they basically put their feet into the loam and then like suck up the nutrients through their feet, and they can close the mouths on their feet so they don't taste bad things if they have to walk through something
I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
That makes sense, honestly. That's where the food is on the ground.
True.
Yeah,
they got
not fucking with those diagonal trees, right? Now they're just sucking nutrients directly out of the dirt.
I have no mouth and I don't need to lean.
Bugs kind of taste with their feet, so like making them kind of insectoid is like a good alien trait, right?
It's
very weird again for children, but okay.
This one was probably ghostwritten by Quentin Tarantino now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
They originally have Sam Jackson played an Andalite in the TV show.
He called him an Andalite.
The Andalites originally evolved as prey animals. They're deer, right? They had developed their tail scythe as a defense against predators. Deeply ingrained in them is a love for the open skies of the plains, and many Andalites have a pretty rooted fear of tight spaces. So claustrophobia runs in their blood, basically.
Yeah. The
obvious question, right? How does a deeply unfuckable deer creature known for living in tribes on the open plains travel the stars to the Yeerk homeworld? Well, the Andalites get their own visitor one day, right? We're kind of Matryoshka dolling this situation here, where the Yeerks got visited by the Andalites. We flash back. Now we're flashing back on the Andalites getting their own visitor, right?
Okay.
The Andalite are in the fields, munching with their toes, when a new Andalite, new to the tribe, waltzes into the group. This new Andalite was actually another alien species, as we're about to see. Aliens showing up on other planets and meddling is a core concept in Animorphs. The new Andalite was a non-binary in disguise by the name of the Elemist. Okay, so I sent you guys a picture of what the Elemist looks like.
Muppet?
Yeah. I think very like Dark Crystal vibes, right?
Yeah.
The Elemist had originally been another species of flying aliens known as the Ketron. The Ketron were a peaceful, relatively advanced race just approaching interstellar spaceflight when the Elemist was living amongst them. They had computer games, inshallah. One of the most popular games being Spore, where you would create a species and guide it through its evolution, trying to guide it as far along as possible before it died out. Okay?
Cool.
Spore looks cool as hell, yeah.
So that's right. Our new addition is a capital G gamer. Even more than that, he was a streamer. Their entire species were streamers. Okay.
Oh no.
It's a planet that's essentially one big streamer house. Okay. And it goes exactly as bad as that sentence says. Let me tell you. So Spore was huge on their planet, right? So huge that everyone was playing it and there was no one around to watch the actual live streams. So they decide to broadcast their game out into space, right? When their game gets out to space, another race ends up seeing their broadcast and, misinterprets it a little bit. The Capacents, as they're called.
Oh, they think they're gods because they're creating life.
They don't realize that it's just a game. They see an unknown species meddling with the evolution of others and then ultimately letting them all die.
Oh my god.
That's the way the game goes, is they always die at the end. It's how far you can get them along, basically. The Capacents decide that's not cool, show up on the Ketron home planet and annihilate them. They just they gas the planet, basically.
That's based. You should do that to a streamer house, frankly. I think it's just that's the right move.
Yeah, they've essentially swatted themselves. The Elemist himself or themselves would escape on a prototype spaceship with a handful of survivors of the genocide. So, like the last of the Ketron race escapes on this spaceship. It was like a prototype spaceship. Like I said, they were just kind of getting to interstellar travel, and so they get on it and they leave.
Okay,
they roam the galaxy.
Calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna blow up.
All the people who weren't gaming and they'd just gotten up to put nuggies into their air fryer or whatever, they were taken away because they weren't criminals yet. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. They roam the galaxy.
The nuggie chefs were spared the Holocaust.
They were searching for a new home they could rebuild their civilization on, though it wasn't easy given their unique physiology. They needed a really dense atmosphere with low gravity because they were flying people, and if you look at the Muppet creature, ain't got no wings, doesn't really look like somebody prone to bouts of sudden flight. They basically could fly because they lived in a super dense atmosphere with low gravity.
It's like almost reaching the point of a liquid so they can kind of swim fly.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. I think you could do that on Jupiter if it wasn't mostly acid. It's very dense, like liquid.
It is very dense, yeah. Probably, right? It's bigger than all the other planets in our solar system combined.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Birds are kind of just swim flying in their own way, aren't they?
True.
Yeah. Or fly swimming if you're those penguins with the shitty economy.
If you get on Michael Phelps's back, I think it's like 18 hours to Paris from New York. Yeah.
Just him like all the way across the ocean. That would be amazing. In-flight movie, you have like a little DVD player, portable DVD player.
You can just have your phone on the back of his head. He's got one AirPod, you've got the other. He's like listening to the show.
Yeah. Hey, man, you gotta turn that off. I can't. You're not allowed to have electronics up here, dude. I don't know what Michael Phelps sounds like. I've never heard him speak.
Every 3 hours, you got to take a break on an island or something, so you can turn back from Michael Phelps into the other. We couldn't get the real Michael Phelps. Yeah,
of course. He can't stay Michael Phelps for more than 3 hours at a time. Otherwise, he'll remain Michael Phelps forever.
It's just Animorphs.
So eventually, the group comes to a moon, which might have been a promising candidate. They're kind of flying low over water on the moon's surface when their ship is grabbed by a large tentacle, suddenly reaching out of the water. The ship crashes. Finally, the rest of the Ketran species died, barring the Ellimist. So all the remaining survivors, including the other Ketran whom the Ellimist had fallen in love with, they all die. The tentacle creature itself calls itself Father. It was a parasitic sponge with tentacles attached, basically. Yeah. It had a unique ability to absorb the minds of the dead and contained all the knowledge and intelligence of every creature to have ever died on this moon, including the new Ketrans that it just killed here, right?
Okay.
That's kind of its thing. It's like a Venus flytrap. If a Venus flytrap got smarter every time it killed a fly, which might do. I don't know.
Yeah, it just gets a fly's worth of knowledge every time.
That's why they haven't taken over.
There's no Venus flytraps that have been alive for 1 billion years yet. So.
And it's still just learning the same things every time. It's like, another fly's experience.
No,
cool.
no,
I delicious.
Get it. Yeah, I get it. Poop yummy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I get it. If I had hands, I would do this. I'd rub them together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Believe you me, if I could move these little leaves, I would.
You've got like the existential crisis of the Venus flytrap now, where it has it's just like the brain slug, where it has no arms and no eyes to clean, and it's the only thing it wants more than anything now, right? A billion years.
I am all mouth and I must clean. Yeah.
So Father, the tentacle monster, the sponge, for all his intelligence, had never had a friend. I wonder why. And decided to keep the Ellimist alive with him for the company. They would play games together. And at first, Father would win every match, what with having the combined brain power of a couple billion dead aliens, right? Over time, however, the Ellimist found Father's blind spot. Father had only really absorbed the academic intellect of those whom it had absorbed, not their creativity. I'll go ahead and say it. The wiki said creativity and love. I cut love. I hate it when love is the most powerful magic, right? Gun is more powerful magic than love. Slowly.
Yeah, you should ask my wife.
I mean, fucking love is even weaker than being stuck as Falcon. Like, it's got claws, right?
Slowly, the Ellimist began to learn to beat Father in all the games that they played, until they were ready to attempt the greatest game of all. Download another person's brain into your own.
Okay.
It's like, you go chess, then you get into Magic the Gathering, then you get into neuroscience.
Right.
The pipeline. So they beat Father, they download Father and all of his intelligences into their own brain.
Has this been like a Seventh Seal gambling thing the whole time, where they were playing for all the knowledge in the universe, or was this
that's like my vibe. Again, I haven't read the books. Apologies to any fans of the series who I'm butchering it for, but that's like my take. Is like there were stakes to the game. He said one final game. If you lose, you agree to store yourself in my brain, basically.
Right. Okay.
Tell us we're wrong at the Discord if you care to do so.
Yeah, dumbass. Once they had the intelligence of Father, they were able to salvage their old ship and not only repair it, but integrate the technology of the ship into their own body, turning themselves into a hyper-intelligent biologic spaceship.
Cool.
They even figured out how to split their consciousness across multiple ships, becoming unbound to just a singular form. So the Elemist is now a fleet of starships. With the power to spread through the galaxy freely and quickly, the Elemist made a vow to save other species from the fate of their own Ketrans. They would continue this way until they would encounter another similarly powerful being known as Krayak, but more on the devil after the break. Approximately 100 million Earth years ago, we became aware of a new force in the galaxy. Not a species, an individual. He was a fugitive from another galaxy, chased out of that galaxy by a power even greater than me. This new force, this individual, began to make his presence known in our galaxy. And he had different ideas from ours. He sees a universe of conflict, pain, and terror. He craves fear. Not his own, of course, but the fear of others. What you just heard was a quote from the Elemist in the novel The Attack, describing Krayak. If the Elemist is our gamer god, and as I was telling Pete on the break, he is going to get to pretty god status soon, then Krayak is our gamer devil.
Okay.
The Elemist was traveling through the galaxy, brokering peace across untold planets when he came across Krayak for the first time. Here's another quote for you guys from Krayak to the Elemist in the book The Elemist Chronicles.
Like, oh no!
Would you believe it did come through? Would you believe it starts worse than that? The opening line is, "I'm just a gamer." Like
no.
You. I'm just a gamer like you.
Wait, as someone who works in customer service for video games, I'm pretty sure I've seen that in tickets, like where people start off that way. And
absolutely, big incel vibes from Krayak. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Big gamer vibes from Krayak, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm just a gamer like you, but with a perhaps different philosophy. I don't play the game to save the species, but to annihilate it. I play the game of genocide. This galaxy has even more potential games within it than the galaxy I left behind. I will cleanse this galaxy of all life too. Then, when no sentient thing is left alive, I will kill you, Elemist. That's my game. Shall we play? Yeah. Big gamer. Too much G Fuel in the morning, my guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so funny how I think the very kind of high concept, like Halo prequel, Dune level sci-fi that these people were thinking of like an intergalactic slave war. And they're just like, well, I couldn't get a publisher. New York Times won't pick it up. But like, what are kids like? Super Nintendo. All right, let's put in a gamer line and then just go from there. It's just like the boomer. It's just boomer ass energy.
This goes back to our Venus flytrap thing. It's like, if all you eat is flies, then all you'll want is poop. It's like, if all you eat is gamers, well, all you want is for a girl to maybe like you one day, and then to do things that are completely unlogical because they don't. Yeah.
If all you eat is gamers, all you'll want is for someone to text you back.
Yeah. I love that there was this is like definitely a fact of life. I love that there was a book in my elementary school gym, probably a stack of them, that had the line, "I play the game of genocide" written in it. And my kindergarten teacher was just like, "This is for boys."
No, back in so for our Gen Z listeners, I don't know what school's like today, but back in around the turn of the 20th century or the 21st century, we had distinctly boy and girl books, and that's why boys are like this now. That's why older boys are so terrible, is because we had shit like this to read.
Yeah, I mean, we were introduced early to a non-binary fleet of intelligent starships, very progressive and cool. But
so you
I
can
bet a lot of young boys responded to Krayak a lot more closely, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
than to the envy
toys,
icon.
You could get the oven that makes cookies. That's for girls. Or you could get the oven that you cook bugs in.
Yeah, bugs and slime. That's for boys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a rough description for how Krayak appears from Jake's perspective, at least in the book The Capture. The quote is, "A creature or a machine, some combination of both. It had no arms. It sat still as if unable to move on a throne that was miles high. Its head was a single eye. The eye turned slowly, left, right. I trembled. I prayed he would not look my way. And then it saw me. The eye, the blood red eye, looked straight at me. It saw me. It saw me.
It's just Barad-dûr.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you're right. It's the Lord of the Rings eye, the eye of Sauron. Top of a big old tower miles high, it's a big, big old eye, as they say. So Craig, for whatever reason, wants the galaxy cleansed of life. His goal is to destroy it all, often by manipulating one race into destroying another. He wants the strong to destroy the weak, and then a stronger race to destroy that original strong race, and then so on and so forth until there would only be a single sentient race subjugated by him left in the galaxy.
Okay, galactic deep state. Got it.
I've been getting into Invincible lately. I'm almost done season 2, getting into season 3, and there's some themes there of like superior shit where if you can beat the other race, you deserve to live. So
yeah, the Invincible show is fantastic.
It's so good. J.K. Simmons, I love him as Omni-Man.
Yeah. I've only watched the first episode, but I gotta say that theme was kind of there in the first episode. Pretty fascist shit, huh?
Ultralights, baby.
Yeah, was good the first episode. I just bad at watching TV shows. Don't at me. So Crayak wants to destroy all life elements. That's like the exact opposite of what he wants. They want, right? The Elemis is like, no, keep species alive, please. Elemis pretty against this, and at the time is pretty competent, right? They're an armada unto themselves,
right?
At first, their interactions were reminiscent of the Elemis time with Father, with Crayak presenting these games for the Elemis to try and win. Unfortunately, for each of the games, the Elemis was like, they're rigged games. They're set up to fail, and each game, ends in a wholesale death of innocent creatures, typically. So usually ends in like the extinction of a sentient species or a species that would have evolved to be sentient.
Okay, Crayax, I'm tired of gambling with inhabited planets.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, let's do a completely fair game then. And Crayak just like pulls out a slot machine, and the Elemis just has like pull the arrows like, oh, you lose again, my friend. I'm sorry.
Put all the Neanderthals on red.
Yeah. I got 100,000 dodos. Put them up black.
No, their eggs are so big and delicious. Oh, the rats eat.
The Elemis is pretty disgusted by the outcomes. They realize that they are ineffective at stopping Crayak, and they give up. The Elemis retreats to a small world with no sentient life on it just yet. They retreat to the Andalite homeworld. The Elemis would split a fragment of their consciousness, their original persona, into an Andalite and fall in love. Remember that outsider Andalite that showed up to the group one day? It was the Elemist.
Oh.
When they and their new partner got the news that their partner was pregnant, the Elemist was elated.
Wait, he partitioned his brain into a deer and started fucking it.
Again. Everyone in this series is way too cool about like not calling these Andalites fucking monsters. Okay, this guy, as far as I can tell, minutes into interacting with them is laying
enamored.
Yeah.
He's like, I can split myself into 4 bodies and get myself into one of each of them feet.
No.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Also, is the Elemis still a sentient spaceship that is now fucking a deer?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's
cool.
Weird. It's weird all the way down. So,
okay.
Oh no! Wait, you must be right. They must be sentient. The Andalites must be sentient on some level at this point.
It's Doe a deer, not
you gotta
a
give
deer.
Sentience.
Guys, don't step on my joke. I had it right.
I heard your joke. Okay. The listeners heard your joke. You can relax, okay? Calm down. Simmer down. It wasn't
stepping on each other.
You two are. I'll give you that. So birthing in a pre-medical science society is tough, right? Their first child does not survive childbirth. But you're right, Pete. They are definitely sentient at this point because the Element's partner, while they're distraught, their partner reassures them, even though they suffered loss, they could still create new life. This line would stick with the Elements. They set the species on the path for more advanced technology, and then they had 5 children total with their partner. So they have 5 children on the Andalite planet. The Ellimist would spend their life on the Endolite planet until eventually their partner died, and then they decided to return to the stars with the wisdom of their partner fresh in their mind. Even if Krayak could destroy, not all would be lost as long as the Ellimist was there to create and save life. So instead of playing the games on specific species, they were just going to travel around the galaxy and like foster new species to grow.
Okay. So what? How the plans to fuck deer for now?
Yeah, fuck all sorts of deer. Fuck a deer with mouths on their feet. Fuck deer with mouths on their butts. Fuck deer with mouths on their chests. Anywhere you can put a mouth on a deer, the Ellimist is fucking it. Okay.
I like it.
While the I wish you didn't say it that way. Okay?
Yeah.
I can't describe how you said it, but shivers.
I enjoy that.
While the Ellimist had been gone, Krayak had created or lifted up a race of aliens known as Howlers to help them destroy more races in the galaxy. I sent you guys a picture of what a Howler looks like. You might recognize at the bottom of the frame a familiar face. Clearly, the year picture that I sent you before is from the same picture as this one. This seems to be like the bad guy picture, you know, all the bad species on one poster.
A Howler is
Down at the
just
bottom of the photo.
A fire the thing with Wolverine claws, basically.
Yeah, nailed it. Got it in one.
And does it have like Fabio tentacle hair? Is that what's behind it, or is that an explosion?
No, I think that's another thing, which I don't have a picture of.
Okay.
The Ellimist, in response to the Howlers, creates the Pimalites. Okay? These are dogs for God. I really only include this because, fun fact, Pimalites would eventually end up on Earth, their essence blended with their closest match, wolves, to create dogs for people. Dogs canonically descend from Ellamites. Or Pelamites. Pemalites. Jesus. The Ellimist creation began to outpace the destruction that Krayak could wreak, and Krayak realized it was time for a frontal assault.
It is time to outfuck the devil. You cannot stop.
Frontal assault with all the holes in the different places.
Full frontal assault, if you will. By this point, however, the Ellimist had grown strong enough to take Krayak 1v1, and a galaxy-wide war begins between the two and their proxy armies. Okay? So we've got God with dogs, dogs who he invented. I didn't include the picture because it's, and I'm sorry, fans of the series. It's so stupid, but it's a spaceship that's shaped like a dog, and that's like the only. I couldn't find a picture of it.
Fucking way.
They do. So the OG dogs do go extinct in this war. Somebody like saves their DNA and then blends it with wolves to make like the dogs that we have here on Earth.
It looks like my sister had one of these. It's like a very cute, big-headed cartoon dog submarine.
Yeah, it's a Snoopy submarine, basically.
Yeah, it is. That's okay. Very funny. I also love how bringing this back to other sci-fi that we've covered on the show. Preserving the DNA and seeding it onto other planets is also what the Forerunners did with humans in Halo.
Goddamn, Bungie lifted it all.
I can't believe it.
It was just Animorphs all along. What the hell?
Why don't people make ships that look like people faces? You know, we make them look like our penises.
We're not aerodynamic.
What if the dog people made it look like that and a little red thing popped out?
A dog penis?
It's the stairs when you land.
Yeah, it's like engage the knot, light speed.
It's their ballast.
Yeah.
So countless lives are lost in the war, and it rages until Krayak tricks the Ellimist into piloting his ship body too close to a black hole, which devours the Ellimist.
Oh no.
Krayak's Fortnite victory dance is cut short, however, when he realizes that this didn't kill the Ellimist. Instead, it blended his being with all of space and time, allowing to control the physics of the universe.
Oh.
It's a black hole's work, you know?
Yeah. Oh. It's like when Matthew McConaughey goes in the black hole, then he's able to knock the bookshelves off for his daughter in the past. It's because you go into a tesseract.
That's it. We can't make fun of this part of the Animorphs because there seems to be a significant portion of the male population for whom Interstellar is their favorite movie, and that's just as fucking stupid. The end of that movie. Okay, so we can't make fun of it, I guess, because probably a lot of our listeners are like, Interstellar is the best movie ever made, and the ending's just as dumb as is part of the.
We never went in a black hole yet that could work that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So far, this what science tells us is we come out as a plate of spaghetti on the other side. There's something called spaghettification.
You never come out. You never get out.
Yeah.
Oh, you just become spaghetti.
Yeah, you become the core essence of spaghetti.
Longer and longer spaghetti for eternity.
Spaghetti was invented after the telescope. So it was when Pavarotti, famous astronomer, discovered the first black hole. He saw the spaghetti and he had the idea for it. And then he ran through the town yelling "Eureka" in Italian. And
it's all Italy, though, eh? Spaghetti and space. Kind of sus. I don't know.
I would say that I don't think the Italians invented space.
Well, they did spaghetti at least. Yeah, they discovered spaghetti.
Discovered space.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa used to go all the way to space, but then it got crooked and now it doesn't go high enough.
Oh,
space.
If they just stood it up, it would be 12,000 kilometers higher.
Okay, space is not that high, my friend.
A space elevator has been something I've been reading about in Reader's Digest since I was like 8 years old. I feel like that's something that they said they're always going to do because the hardest part about getting into space, or the most expensive part, is getting out of the atmosphere. And they said they're going to make nanofiber tubes or something. The only thing that would be strong enough to get all the way to space, and then we just take an elevator, and then you could just fly away. And they still didn't do it at all. So what the hell's with that, Italians?
I mean, yeah, that's when I have to sit through
Get
another
on it,
meeting.
Italians.
When I have to sit through another meeting at work where they talk about how like AI in 2 years is going to be the future, and I keep saying like, yeah, you've been saying that since the 80s, but you know,
yeah.
Now we've got one that could tell us the wrong information whenever we want. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
At the tip of our fingers, we can get complete asinine bullshit whenever we want. It's unbelievable. The future is now. Oh my god. So the Elements sucked black hole. He's spaghetti now, but spaghetti actually secrets of the universe. The control over everything. Control the spaghetti. You control the minds of the population. So the Elements at some point saves a planet, which is believed to be Earth, half a year in its moves a planet. Half a year in its rotation to save it from Kryak. Just to give you an example of the power that he has come into, he can move a planet like in its rotation by half a year because he can control space and time. Pretty big.
Yeah.
That's like that's a big upgrade from being a ship or several ships to being I can just move planets.
Could be physics itself, yeah.
Yeah. You can control all the meatballs as spaghetti.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the meatballs in the asteroid belt are actually very far apart, which is why you can't mine them.
True. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, the Elements can actually make the moon hit your eye. So you better fucking watch out, son.
That was smart.
Eventually, Kryak would figure out how to do the same. I guess he just fucking throws himself into a black hole. I don't know. And the war really
I'm gonna
kicks
die
off.
or be God, but my enemy controls all of physics, so that's a fantastic gamble.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a quote from the Elements describing the height of their war in the book The Attack. The battle we fought destroyed 1/10 of the galaxy, millions of suns, millions of planets, 12 sentient races, 12 sentient species, and more who would have achieved sentience, all destroyed for nothing. But Kryak was damaged as well. The fabric of space-time, the software, as you humans would say, the software that runs the galaxy was damaged, twisted by the sudden explosion of our power. All Kryak's knowledge of space-time was now shattered. The few threads he had gathered to him were yanked from his grasp. Millions of years of effort wasted. We fell back from our test of wills, our war. So pretty catastrophic. A tenth of the galaxy is destroyed in their battle. And they kind of realize coming off that, they're like, hey, that was too much, huh? We got a little heated there, Kryak, huh? And Krayak's like, hey, Elemist, no joke. I didn't mean half the shit I said back there.
They boys now.
They're not.
They're not boys. Two halves of physics. Yeah,
they're not boys, but they kind of agree that they cross some lines they shouldn't have.
Okay.
Right? Some things are sacred.
If you're gods of a realm, yeah, and if you're gods of a realm, like if that realm's a house and you destroy a whole living room and that's your whole universe, it's like, well, I missed the living room now. Like, where was that? Yeah. You know, you can't be destroying what you own.
That's it. I think like the Elemist never wanted a war, never wanted them to be fighting anyway, probably. And Krayak's like, hey, I got to stop shitting where I eat because there's gonna be nothing left for me to rule over if I destroy it all. So they realize that direct confrontation is off the table for fear of destroying the universe itself, and instead commit to full-time proxy wars.
Hell
Basically,
yeah.
they just turn to America. No problem.
I was gonna say
right?
they took all the knowledge and the control over physics, and they just turned into like neolibs.
Yeah, straight up.
They were using like metaphysical nukes up until this point, but now they're realizing no, just manipulation is the way to the top.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. So the Andalites were not created by the Elamists, but they would prove over time to be instrumental fighters in the war against entropy.
Okay.
The Elamists obviously goes back to his old Andalite homies and is like, hey, I see you guys have developed knives on your tails. Do you want to fight in a war for me? Right? As the Andalites would prove kindred spirits to the Elamist, the Yeerk would serve Krayak's purposes perfectly well. Right?
Oh, of course.
Remember those guys? Remember the slugs? You remember how we were talking about their evolution right up until when the Andalites landed on their planet? The Andalite continued to evolve throughout the years, and at times guided by the Elamist, they spread through the stars, serving to foster life and uplift lesser species.
It's real life gamer now.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing his game in real life with the Andalites essentially, and the Andalites are all in on it. They're just going planet to planet. They're giving them whatever tools that they can use to improve, basically, right?
Yeah. Okay.
They continued as such until one delegation, led by a prince of the Andalite, known as Prince Zero, arrived on the Yeerk homeworld. The
He will travel the stars and bequeath upon the under-evolved things their nicotine and white monster.
They found a puddle of slugs and they said, have some smallpox blankets, and they blasted back off into the stars.
Straight to the puddle with a little stick.
Yeah.
Just pop a Zin into a slug, it just melts instantly.
if you give a you've heard of if you give a mouse a cookie, right? The Gen Alpha version is if you give a slug a Zin.
That's a good episode title, right?
Yeah, it is.
The Yeerks were a pitiable race, though they had assimilated some of the Geds at this point. Most Yeerks still spent their lives stuck in mud puddles. Prince Zero took pity on the Yeerks. He gifted them some technology and taught them about astronomy. He even built them portable devices called Kadronas, which would let them leave their mud pools for a time. So again, you remember Kadrona being the sun, gives them special yellow sun powers. The pools that they live in, the Yeerks, suck up the sun juices, right? So the Andalites arrive and say like, oh, it sucks that you guys are intelligent enough to communicate. So it sucks that you guys are stuck in puddles unless you take over the brains of these pathetic monkeys, truly.
Yeah.
So like here's a tanning bed for you, basically. Does the same shit, you know? Which is great.
Nice. Very nice of them.
Very nice. The Andalites are great.
The crooked monkey economy has tanked at this point because there's no use for them.
Yeah. Now they can when it's like rainy or whatever, they don't have to be completely depressed and lose all energy, right? They can just have energy at any time from their sun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do love what you just said there, Pete. The idea that like the Geds were their housing market and like it just collapses and people are like
completely.
My retirement plan was to sell my lopsided monkey and move back into the puddle. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I may work until I'm 17 because that's when slugs die. I don't know how long slugs live.
Yeah, exactly.
Kadronas, the portable devices called Kadronas, named after the sun, are pivotal throughout the Animorph story. It is the Yeerks' Achilles heel in the stories. So the Yeerk gather essential nutrients from the pools they live in, which only generates beneath the unique sun of the Yeerk homeworld, like I said. In the novels, a Yeerk can only live in a host body for 3 days before it must leave and return to the Kadrona to get its gruel. Right?
Okay.
So like that's like they're in like when the Yeerks do eventually end up on Earth, again, it's a Yeerk invasion of Earth that the stories take place in. Like they have to, even if they take over someone, they have to leave that body and go to their spa.
There's a lot of very convenient time limits in the fiction.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not like a parasite. It's like literally like a human vehicle. Like you go in, but you got to get out to eat at some point. That's crazy.
Yeah. I guess I called it a parasitic relationship, but like they don't gain anything other than like tools. It is more like a vehicle, I guess, right? Like that's not how they live. It's like the opposite of that. They're in a scuba suit when they're in us, basically, right? they're going to need to come up for air eventually.
They're like truckers, right? Where it's like you can only be powered off of gas station dick pills for 3 days before you need to pull over. Yeah, hell yeah, there you go, brother.
He's flashing he's wearing a truck towing shirt right now. So, in return for the gifts that the Andalites gave the Yeerks, a contingent of Yeerks broke onto the Andalite compound with some of the Ged hosts, slaughtered the minimal guards on duty, and stole some spaceships. They flew to the other side of the planet, loaded up on Yeerks and their new portable Cadronas, and set off to conquer the galaxy.
Okay,
so
they were
shitty, and
this is advantage. Sorry, I got a hiccup there right in the middle, so I stopped.
This is what we were saying before. Like, is living in lopsided monkeys enough for you to say like, oh, I have a good life? Like, if you're intelligent enough to know like there is better eyesight out there, right? Like, I don't need to be blind. If I just find another race, then cool.
Yeah. You don't have to be babble mouth either. They can communicate better. And
yeah,
they don't
exactly.
Have, like,
everything. They can do everything better. And you mentioned earlier, James, the the Andalites would be like a Corvette for them. Throughout the series, it seems like Andalites are hard for the Yeerks to control for whatever reason. I'm going to say, I haven't read the books. It's probably explained in there. I couldn't find it. I'm going to say the telepathy, like the psychic powers are too much for the brain slugs, I guess. But for some reason, like, Andalites are not good hosts, right? So
I would think it'd be like the Spark of the Divine, since they were, I forgot the wizard's name. It like their first mate when they, with their first mate when they led their God's chosen people.
Yeah,
the deer have the power. They have the power of love, and the slugs have the power of hate from the evil guy.
It's probably love.
It's love, dude.
There's the power of love versus the power of slug on brain, and again, power of love, kind of dog shit. So, slug on brain grabs some stupid monkeys. They steal a spaceship, and they're out into the galaxy. Right?
Don't need money. Don't need fame. I got a slug on brain.
The Andalites realized their mistake, and the law forbidding the sharing of technology with lesser species would be called Ciro's kindness. This made the act of giving the teens their Animorph powers a crime at the beginning of the series.
Right.
The teenagers are actually the bad guys because crimes tell us what is good and bad. Right? laws determine that moral good.
True.
There's some 16-year-old listening to this who doesn't get that and needs a conversation. I hope you get that, listener. The Yeerk would take over many species throughout the galaxy while warring with the Andalites, which they struggled to infest. One of the most notable species that they take, that they control, are known as the Hork-Bajir. I sent you a picture of some Hork-Bajir, who are herbivorous bipedal lizards who make excellent frontline soldiers, it's described. So these are like pretty prominent soldiers, I think, in the books that the teens presumably fight a lot, is these Hork-Bajir being controlled by the Yeerks. Hork-Bajir themselves, they're herbivores. They seem to be pretty chill when they don't got brain slug, when they have disease.
Well, if these guys gave brain, it sounded like Hork-Bajir. Look at that neck, dude.
I really like the 1950s pulp sci-fi art that you shared with us here for a 90s book series. Also, the naked as the day they were born bird dinosaurs with just ray guns is a very funny picture. Like, they have no technology whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's presumed my money for this picture is, and again, if you want access to pictures, Google Hork-Bajir or join our Patreon and join the Discord, and we post them there. My money is on there's a platform in the trees where these long-necked lizard like dinosaurs, bipedal dinosaurs, have ray guns and they're shooting at some down beneath. I'm gonna guess, they were resistant to the brain slugs, but the brain slugs had ray gun technology, so they lost their civil war against gun. Again, power of love 0, gun 1.
There's a lot of feet stuff here too. I went to the wiki briefly, and the second image is Hork-Bajir feet.
Hork-Bajir feet. Don't Google it. Worst mistake of my life.
Right next to an American baseball mitt, and
yeah, it's on Earth.
Nothing more American than.
Hey son, you want to catch? What are you looking at? Nothing. Get out of my room. So, despite being a once peaceful race under the control of the Yeerks, they were a devastating infantry force. The Andalites, desperate in the face of the assault, took drastic action. The Andalites bioengineered a weapon to kill off the Hork-Bajir called the Quantum Virus, which devastated the Hork-Bajir population and made it so that virtually the only Hork-Bajir left were those already under Yeerk control. Again, book series for kids. We have, chemical warfare. It's the same as Mass Effect with the Krogans, right?
I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to refer back to like other games I played on the 360. Like
another sci-fi 360 game was just ripped off Animorphs, apparently.
Yeah.
The Yeerks were suddenly faced with the reality that they no longer had enough hosts. They don't have more Hork-Bajir. They're looking for new candidates. And so they turn their attention to a species that could breed like rabbits. Humans, of course. And that is how Earth becomes the battleground for the Yeerk-Andalite War, which threatens not just life on Earth, but all life in the galaxy. I've been your host. That's Animorphs Lore. Thanks so much for listening. I love you. If you want to get in touch with us, consider joining the Discord. There's a link in the description below. Jamie, you want to plug your Twitch stream?
Yeah, twitch.tv/loreboyjames. I streamed 5 days in the past 7 days. So come on by. If you like the stream, you'll be eating good lately. Tuesdays and Thursdays, what I commit to, though. And then other days are just bonus. But you can find me on the Discord. I'll always post that stuff. So, yeah. And you can even maybe get a little bit of my DNA and morph into me one day. Who knows?
If you touch my forehead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Peter, what's going on with you, buddy?
At loreboyspodcast on Instagram, and that's where you can reach out to me, send some memes like the photos. Preview of my comic is currently available at patreon.com/theloreboys for every tier if you want to get a little taste of what I've been working on. Precious few feet in my comic, so I may go back and rework a few things. Exactly. Wait for the final release one day, guys. More feet in the more feet in the full version, guys. I promise. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go over it and figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah, comics free, but the feet panels are paywalled.
Yeah, it's like a 6-panel page. 5 of them are blurred out. It's just like one no context photo.
There's probably an unserved market for fish feet, like.
I don't want to find out if it's underserved. Actually, I like to believe it's underserved, but I'm not too sure.
I don't think any market for feet is underserved at this point. There has to be a corner of the internet where that's just they're going buck wild over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. If you guys want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/theloreboys, where you can get access to a preview of Pete's comic. Some of the middle of the comic, believe it or not, is available there for as little as $3 a month. You can get access to a bunch of bonus content and a fun little game we call the Loser Titles, which we play every week, which came out 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago for this episode. Who knows? It came out earlier this week for this episode. Can you guess what it is? If I write on Patreon, time to outfuck the devil, can you guess that we're going to talk about Animorphs is the game, okay? So check it out, patreon.com/loreboys. There's a link in the description. No, patreon.com/loreboys. There's a link in the description. And if you don't trust Patreon, we do, of course, have Loreboys Prime, a service which we've always offered, where Jamie is willing to show feet. For every strand of DNA of your own that you can mail personally to James, he will give you a feet pic in return. It could be, piece of your hair, a fingernail. You want to just cut a patch of skin off your tummy. That's good. Put it in an envelope and mail it off to James, and you'll get a feet pic in return.
Well, I actually left my feet in a pair of Crocs for a little too long, so they're looking a little scaly now.
Yeah, Jamie has permanent Croc feet now. I say, see you later, alligator, every time I see him. And I think that would constitute a Lore Boys.
Lore Boys.